Gary Caffetta will do the ring announcing here. They actually ran towns. They didn't just didn't run the EC Bingo Hall.
That's
ECW
right.
Bingo
That's
Hall.
right. That's a misconception. They only ran the show once a month here at the ECW arena. And this is normally where they did TV. So a lot of times it looked like this is the only building they ran, but they were running shows every weekend.
And where would they run? Philadelphia area? Is that it?
They would run a lot in the Northeast. So you'd see shows in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, things like that. But obviously all over Philadelphia and whatnot, but then eventually they started to branch out and come down south, and they did a lot of shots in Florida. And then they started to go everywhere. They were hitting Chicago. They'd hit Detroit. They came to Alabama. I saw them multiple times in Birmingham. I saw them in Chattanooga. They were in pay-per-views in Atlanta, actually in Marietta at the Cobb County Convention Center.
Yeah.
So they were doing shows all over, but Pittsburgh, Queens, Philadelphia, those were sort of the staples.
Tazz looks pretty ripped here, man. He looks pretty good.
Tazz in phenomenal shape. One of my favorite wrestlers. I absolutely love Tazz in ECW. Like the Tazz character that we got towards the end of the WWE, but when he debuted in the WWE, phenomenal. And it was sort of fun. You see the giant sign in the background there that says Tazz fears me, because he would actually go to Raw and carry a sign around the crowd just to stir people up about his feud with Sabu. And this is more than just a wrestling on camera feud. These guys behind the scenes were very competitive with each other, and neither one of them wants to lose. This is very much an era where wins and losses still matter. And Sabu has been the top independent draw for years and years. And now Tazz is trying to be the man here in ECW, and they're finally going to touch for the very first time. And this is as main event gets for ECW. Now the world title's not on the line. This is a grudge match, but still the anticipation here, Tony, I can't begin to describe, because if you're an ECW fan, they never touched. And a lot of times there were teases, the lights would go off and then they'd come back on and the other one would be in the ring, but they never touched.
Right now, Tazz is doing what we used to call a Wahoo McDaniel, Conrad, and that is just standing in the corner, big feud, didn't matter. He was real cool. He let the other guy jump around the ring and make a fool of himself, and Wahoo would just stand there as if nothing was happening until the bell rang. So I appreciate that. I kind of did a little jab at our buddy Dave Silva, because I had heard that he worked with Tazz for a little bit, and I guess that's true, right?
Yeah, it's kind of fun, man. In a weird way, Tazz is responsible for Dave Silva being in our life, because Dave Silva was a big caller to the Tazz show in the very early days, the infancy, if you will, of the Tazz show. And this is before he was with CBS Radio and all that. I mean, he was still doing it for Play.it, but he wasn't doing a sports talk radio show at the time that was syndicated and blah, blah, blah. So he was a big caller, and Dave would actually do funny gimmicks, and he would call in as different characters, and he would do funny promo videos, and he did graphics. And then somewhere along the way, he just randomly, because anybody can DM me on Twitter, he DM'd me art for, I think, my Brian Pillman episode with Bruce. And I thought, man, this is the fucking coolest thing ever. And then he did one for Vader, and he did one for Sonny. And then I was like, man, can you be like my official graphics guy and do this all the time? And I think Tazz maybe got upset that he was doing stuff with other podcasts and felt like, hey, Dave belongs to me. You can't do this. He didn't say that to me. Tazz didn't, but I think he sort of put Dave in a spot where he had to pick. And I guess there was some sort of falling out. I'm not exactly sure what happened. It's obviously a sore subject for both guys, but, hey, Tazz's loss is our gain. Thank you, Tazz, because Dave Silva has been a major contributor to what we're doing here.
Yeah, Dave's the man. We love Dave, and I'm glad I found it was a sore spot, and that means I'm going to take more advantage of it as I go along next time I see Silva, as I've been known to do.
Well, that's what I was trying to do, doing the Tazz promo where I'm talking about just choking out Dave Silva. It'll make Dave and all of our friends laugh, and really that's the metric we use here on the show. If our friends are going to laugh, maybe other people will too.
Couple of pretty good standing switches, and you talked about the anticipation of this match, this being a real main event. Fans right now look like they don't know what to expect in this thing, Conrad.
Well, I think a lot of people expected like a brawl through the crowd. If this is a quote unquote ECW grudge match, then they probably expect a lot of blood and a brawl through the crowd, through the bleachers, through the stands. And that's not what they're getting here. They're getting a wrestling match. And so I'm sure some of the people are like, wait a minute, what the fuck is this? We're doing submission moves instead of You know, but at the same time, it is a good match. Like, this is one of those matches where you either really like it or you really don't like it, because I think so many people just expected just major bloodletting from the beginning. But I was just excited to see them fucking touch and really test each other, because it feels like at times in here, there's some real animosity, and that's what I want you to do. Like, make me believe, like Tazz sort of goading him into, here, do a single leg. And now look at these forearms, man.
Well, let's hear from both of these guys, because if you got this great grudge match, you probably should, with the anticipation, build up to it, right?
Absolutely.
Not just start with the ass kicking and the chair throwing and the table shots right out of the gate. Build up to it, and these guys are doing just that. And you're right. I don't know if these really are stiff, but they look stiff, don't they, these blows?
It looks real as shit to me. One of the things I wanted to show you whenever they get another shot sort of crossways here is you see a series of doors. That was actually the entrance to the building. Like, that's where you came in and left. And that was right at the corner of Swanson and Rittner. And they've got like a little crow, what they call a crow's nest above it. And you see Sabu bleeding there from those punches. Right. So that answers our question.
Yeah.
Are they worked or not?
Right. Well, you know, they're laying them in, and they knew going into this, that's what they would do.
Yeah. Wow. We've got to go back and watch some of this stuff that Sabu has done. Sabu did a barbed wire match later this year in 1997 against Terry Funk. They take down the ropes, they put up the barbed wire, and you guys used to do that a little bit at Jim Crockett Promotions, right?
Well, they used to wrap barbed wire around the ropes. They didn't take down the ropes.
Well, so this becomes a no rope barbed wire match, where instead of these traditional wrestling ropes, it's just strands of barbed wire. And they got so tangled up that they had to that somebody had to come out and cut them out so they could move. But along the way, Sabu tore his bicep. I mean, completely, to where the muscle's hanging out, and he sticks it back in himself and tapes it up. And then in the back, they just super glued it, and he kept going.
Wow. That's a tough motherfucker right there. Now the ECW fans are getting their shit.
You can see there's a paint line on the wall in the background. That was not always painted, but when they knew they were coming to pay-per-view, they wanted to go ahead and try to make it look as good as they could. So they painted, but you can see where they stopped painting. And Sabu there doing one of those triple jump moonsault type moves. Of course, this is a springboard into the crowd, but that's what he was really known for at the time, is let's get a running start, jump onto a chair, onto the rope, and then either backwards or into the crowd. And the crowd goes nuts here. I really wish that every wrestling fan could sort of go back and sit in the ECW arena and see it. I mean, even people who sort of didn't get it, like you and Bruce Pritchard. I think if you went and you were a part of the crowd and the music was there, and it was just it was an experience, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, I get all that. I don't necessarily get the fans mugging to the camera here, but fans mug to the camera in every sport. So what the hell is this, right? And Fonzie up on top. I don't know what he was yanking on the ropes about, but that ECF&W sign or shirt, very, very well known all around.
I think we need a WHF&W shirt.
Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
What happened fucking when?
Yeah, Paul Heyman would probably come after my ass, knowing Paul.
No, he wouldn't even speak to you, remember?
That's right. How you doing? Hey, good to see you. Hey, fine. Paul, you doing fine? Yeah, I'm doing good. How you doing? Good. All right, Paul, I'm going to go over and take a shit. I'll talk to you in a minute. Basically what it was. So now you say that the bicep, was this before or after the bicep tore up?
Oh, this is before. That's going to happen in August. We're in April.
Okay. All right. Because I see he's got his shoulder heavily taped on the left side there. I didn't know if that was keeping the bicep in or not. My God. Now, what are the guys with the T's on about here? The T on their shirt. Are they like Tennessee volunteer recruits?
They're from the Tazz dojo. So they're all training to be wrestlers, and he calls it his dojo.
Hmm.
You're not getting this match too much, are you?
No, but I'm I did get to see a little bit of Sabu, but not that much of it. But I'm just kind of intrigued about what I'm seeing here. I really am. I'm just, I'm kind of thinking that it's a shoot fight, but then again, maybe not. I don't know. I mean, if I, good God, look at this. If I got a Woody because of Steve Regal and Fit Finley back in Uncensored 96. I guess this would give me a Woody too.
I'd really rather not talk about your Woody. If we could shift gears, I'd like to talk about Painted Gypsy Tattoo, which is at 1140 Nortec Drive in Conyers, Georgia, which isn't that far from you. And, I mean, they've got 5-star reviews, about 30 of them on Google. So apparently Luke Gallows knows a thing or two about putting ink on people.
All right. Hold on a second. I talked to Luke at Raw, and Rook said, when you coming down, Ninja? And I said, Rook, I'm going down and get tattoo on my backside. It's an old commentary ninja. No. And he said, when are you coming down and getting the tattoo? I want you to come down. And I said, I'm going to do it. I really am. And we're going to videotape it. And we're going to put it on our Facebook page, WHW Monday. And then the Big L stepped in. The Big L stepped in, LoisRules.com. And she said, you're not getting a damn tattoo.
Yeah, you are. Let's talk about this. If you get a tattoo on your ass, when would Lois ever see it?
Well, maybe one day when I have hemorrhoid problems, she has to wipe my ass for me.
All right. Let's put it on the Peter meat. That way it's safe. It'll be your secret.
No. I told her, she said, well, I did tell you, you've heard this joke before. I did tell the old joke. She said, if you get a tattoo, what would you get? I said, I would get a tattoo of a $20 bill on my penis. She said, why? I said, because I want to see how long it would take for you to blow $20. But thank you very much. I'll be here all night. And she laughed at that. Knowing that.
Here's the deal.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't asked a lot of you here, Tony.
What?
This has been all fun and games. We're buying the fucking shirts. We're paying for the weddings. We got our away bags at awaytravel.com/happened. You're getting this fucking tattoo.
All right. I'm getting the tattoo. And I want our listeners to go on our Twitter feed and tell me what tattoo they think I should get.
I like
maybe Conrad's face.
Maybe
Lois Rules. Maybe hashtag NFLTG. That's a possibility, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe the one tattoo that I wanted to get years ago, which was the Kiss tattoo. And Vince Russo and I said we were going to do it in Detroit, and we never did. I don't know, AC/DC, possibly. But anyway, maybe Dave Silva's likeness with a sombrero. I don't know.
Well,
let us know on Twitter.
Let me just back up and say, if Lois has an issue with this executive decision I've made, what?
I make the rules in my fucking house.
You just said I can't. My wife won't let me, so I don't want to hear that shit now.
All right.
But here's what I'm saying. If she has an issue, then you tell her to climb her ass up in the attic and get my goddamn 6-man tag belt. And then I'll let you get away with it being a henna tattoo, which means you only have it for a little while. I'll tell you this. I would vote for fuck baseball, because baseball is cramping our style this year, because you and I, it's April. We could have had 3 live shows by now. Yeah. You got a fucking baseball game every time I turn around. You're like, Sid Vicious was known for being unreliable in wrestling and never reaching his full potential because of softball. You're now the Sid Vicious of wrestling podcasts.
And especially when I went online, I don't know where I found it, and I saw that you and Bruce Pritchard did your fucking live show, and you had Eric Bischoff on.
Yeah.
And I looked at that and I said, what about me?
Well, you didn't come. It was in fucking New York. You weren't going. I got a baseball game.
I've been usurped by Bischoff once again.
I got a football game.
Hey, good luck with him in his podcast. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. You'll do a great job with him.
It'll be fun for one of us. I'm going to roast his ass.
Are you really?
Because here's the difference. Like, you get to say, there's the booking committee, and I can't really press,
Right. Because
but with him, like, what's that going to sound? I'm going to be screaming, hollering, fussing, cussing. And if you want to go back and tell the 1997 version of me, Conrad, it won't be that long. And one day you'll be cussing at this guy, and that guy will have to take it.
2 things to ask Bischoff. Okay.
Okay.
You ready? All right. And you don't have to do this right out of the gate.
If you're going to ask the one thing, I'm not talking about the one thing.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the only thing I've never even brought up, and I'm not going to because it's just not cool.
No, I understand that. I understand that. I've made a lot of stupid remarks about that. It's just being silly.
No, that's fine here, but I'm just saying over there, people are going to be at my ass, and they ask me questions about it all the time. It's like, dude, come on. It's the one thing you don't want to talk about, and I know that without ever even asking.
Oh, sure. I understand. Holy shit.
How about that? ECW.
How about that?
ECW. So Tazz and Sabu finally go through a table. Usually it's Sabu putting people through a table. Not today. Nay. Sabu takes a spill between a table that was set up between the guardrail and the ring apron. You know, these days, this doesn't feel like that big of a deal, but 21 years ago, table spots were a fucking big deal, man.
Right, they were. You're damn right. And this was one that was kind of a counter move where he was going to get DDT'd on it, and then he shot Sabu down. Okay, here's the things you asked Bischoff. Number one,
okay,
was it true that Craig Leathers and Net Yoder tried to take over the business?
And were they getting it on?
Well, I don't know if he knows that. And number two, tell me the story about Tony Schiavone sitting in your office crying like a baby.
You cried like a baby in his office?
Sure did.
Was it when you found out Lois was pregnant with twins?
No, she had twins long before I knew Eric Bischoff.
Is that when you realized Vince won't take me back?
I cried a long time before that, before I knew Eric Bischoff about that.
The divorce attorney said getting divorced would be too tough. You just need to suck it up.
And I'm still crying about that today.
Well, listen, don't make us wait for 83 weeks.
No, you need to listen to 83 weeks and tell me about it. So.
Well, we're putting our very first poll up at 83 weeks. We're going to let the listeners pick what they want to hear. And I picked some pretty controversial topics because I want to hold his feet to the fire. I think people are wanting like softball shit. They want us to talk about like the first Nitro. And I'm like, nah, I need some controversy.
Right.
Hey, what do you think is going to be his reaction when I mention Hulk Hogan's thermos to him for the first time?
He's probably going to ignore it and try to go on to the next thing. Oh, as if he didn't say it.
I wonder if he even gets the reference.
I don't know. You know, I mean, I don't know if he's as good as with dick jokes as we are here.
Listen, you're a dick joke ninja. So I don't think that there's, here's what's great.
Yeah. My life's become a fucking dick joke.
It is. But
my life's become a dick joke.
It has.
My God. Thank you, Conrad, for doing that. How about that move by Sabu? Jesus.
I love that you call him Sabu. So Sabu just did a top rope leg drop 3/4 across the ring. I mean, all the way at the other end.
Holy
unbelievable, unbelievable athleticism here. A little different than his uncle. Those old Sheik matches, they were bloody, but they weren't like this, were they?
No, they weren't like this at all. The Sheik just kind of grabbed you and cut you. That's about all he did.
Can you imagine? Obviously we're having fun with the match here, but Sabu, I think, is really like one of the unsung heroes of wrestling because he was such an influencer and had such a great influence in wrestling. Sure. Maybe never really got the due, or maybe he did in props, but probably not in money. Like he didn't have like the top WWE money years. I mean, I know that's not something we talk about here on the show, but this dude wasn't making millions of dollars a year. He just really enjoyed wrestling and wanted to do it at a high level and make the fans happy. But maybe he had some different ways about going about his business. But can you imagine after all the bumps that dude's taken, man, it's got to be tough to get around in 2018.
Hey, it did. I think back to the story when I told you when I met and talked to Cactus Jack 2 years ago at WrestleMania in Orlando, and he could hardly walk. And the stuff that he did, and what do you think about Sabu?
Hey, you know what? I forgot to mention this to you. Cactus Jack is going to be right down the road from me day after tomorrow, Wednesday night at Stand Up Live, the comedy club here in Huntsville. And a great friend of the show, Cassio Kidd, and I are going to check him out. You ought to ride over.
A good baseball game.
I know. Hey, this is worth mentioning. What are you doing Sunday night?
Sunday night, I'm free.
What about I take you to see Andrew Dice Clay?
Really?
Andrew Dice Clay is going to be like a mile from my house.
He found Alabama?
In Huntsville, Alabama.
Holy shit.
And I figure you could come over. We could do a podcast this coming week on Sunday night. And we could go ahead and tape it up there and then ease down the mountain, see Andrew Dice Clay. I feel like since your life's one big dick joke, it would be great.
I'd love to see it. That'd be great. Boy, has his career gone to shit if he's working Huntsville, Alabama? Yikes.
Here's what's great. You're going to be in Huntsville, Alabama that night.
Yeah.
You're shitting on Huntsville, a town you're in for work. Boy, his career's gone to shit. You know, I just realized I said your life is one big dick joke. I probably should have said your life is one little dick joke. Right?
Yeah, that's right. Hey, well, tell Mick Foley I said hello. I hope he puts plenty of butts in the seats coming up on Wednesday night.
You should really find a way out of that baseball game, because that would be a moment to see Tony Schiavone, Mr. Butts in the seats with Mick Foley. The crowd would go banana.
They'd go mild on that.
And there it is. The Tazz mission. The Gaza Hajime, brother.
Oh man, he's showing us his thermos right now, man.
Oh my God. Tazz has choked out Sabu clean in the middle.
Yeah.
And Fonzie is not going nuts. Normally he's running around going ape shit, blowing the whistle. And look at the blood flowing out of Sabu's nose there. Clearly a broken nose from those super stiff forearms. The crowd has just seen a war. Lots of grappling, lots of stiff punches, table shots, lots of stuff going on here. The medics are coming out now.
Oh, they really got medics in this place? Please. Oh, and Sabu hops right up. Wow. A lot of drama in this match. And I know in the midst of all my dick jokes, I'm not doing it justice. I realize that.
Tazz is talking. Tell us what he's saying here, Tony.
Oh, okay. You hit me in the head of my dick. Let me say a few things about you, Sabu. Motherfuckers. Yeah, I gotta hold on to my dick. But you're a hell of a man. And let me say that, my dick is hurting badly. Schiavone and Conrad Thompson have done nothing but shit on a great match, and a main event here at ECW is barely legal. They have not done it justice. But apparently he is singing the praises here of Sabu, isn't he?
I love that you call him Sabu, but yes, we'll go with, you fought me and you did it with valor.
Because they're clapping. Notice because they're clapping. Yeah, they're really into this.
I've got respect for you, brother. And all this.
Yeah. Yeah, he's doing a great job putting Sabu over. I know it's Sabu. I understand that. I got it.
You are.
Yeah.
So, hey, you got any good Fonzie stories? I feel like Fonzie is, as Bruce Pritchard would say, a gimmick and a half.
Yeah, the only Fonzie story I know that he was a pretty hardworking kid. I always appreciate the way he busted his ass as a referee, and I think we saw part of it right here when he was doing the promo, when he was coming in and we were shaking the ropes. So I liked Fonzie a lot.
Sabu at this point has never spoken. This is worth mentioning. He doesn't do promos. He's just completely silent, but you see him talking to Tazz here. But as far as on mic, never anything. Shaking hands and a hug, and look at the crowd in response. Everybody's clapping. Everybody's into it.
Oh my God, Rob Van Dam. You fucked up. You fucked up. They didn't chant that here.
No.
What the fuck is he doing in here? Oh, so we start a new program now. So, it'll be Sabu and Rob Van Dam. And watch out. Look at Tazz.
Actually, I guess this is where it would be helpful for me to tell you. Rob Van Dam is actually Sabu's tag team partner.
Okay. Oh, how about this? How about this little switcheroo? And now the fans are going fucking nuts. They love the heat. They absolutely love the heat. And this is what EC fucking W is about. Right? They're going to get, where does Sabu go? Is he going to get a table? He'll get a chair? Is he going, you're damn straight, buddy. We're going to fucking ring that motherfucker's bell. Whoa.
Arabian face buster.
Woo. Yeah, baby.
What do you think Klondike Bill would do if somebody was to say, if some lady was to say, hey, Klondike, give me the Arabian face buster. What do you reckon he thought that was?
As long as it smelled like a camel's ass, he'd be okay. Whoa, Sabu screwed that one up. Do it again. Hell yeah, do it again. God, it's one inning. Fuck. How's this guy not dead? How in 2018 is Sabu not fucking dead? Good God.
Can you imagine how many fucking tables he's broken in his career?
God, now he's choking him out. Reverse naked chokehold. It's what they call that, I guess, in MMA. Jeez.